Today we'll be talking about something that is very, very important, is the term Hispanic. So Hispanic is one of the races that people can identify on the U.S. Census, but it really is not a race. It is a cultural group related to the Spain and the Spanish language. Also, which means, why the hell is Brazil considered Hispanic, Nick? Okay, Brazil speaks Portuguese. Okay, it should be, again, Brazil is thus exists, but basically Hispanic, Nick, which is basically you belong to Spain or belong to Hispanic America as well. Yeah, definitions in the United States as well. So there is Hispanic of all races, white or Caucasian, black or African American, American Indian or Native American, Alaska Native, Hawaiian, Native Hawaiian or other specific islander, Asian, and some other race. So, yeah. So in the 1970s, they added Hispanic as a race as well. They added Hispanic as a race, even though Hispanic is a cultural group. It is a cultural group and not a race, as I said. So, yeah. So countries that are considered Hispanic countries is Latin America and Spain. Where that means the U.S. Census considers someone from Spain Hispanic. Yep, someone from Spain is considered Hispanic, which does not make any sense whatsoever, because someone from Spain is white. Okay, someone from Spain is white. And, yeah, for example, so we have this one here. Okay, America, if he does use the defined definition, white, one race only, it's 61.6%, which is the non-Hispanic white definition. But of course, they include white Hispanics, which ups the number to 245 million. So we already have another Y from the, from the U.S. Census, which, non-Hispanic whites, according to this one, totaled 15.8%. And it was Hispanic with you Americans, European Americans who have blah, 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 blah. But, yeah, this one here, it's around 71%. And we also have this graph which goes here. The white alone, this is just white alone. But, yeah, Hispanic is not really a race. It is not really a race, as I have said. So white Americans overall make up the majority in most states, except for Maryland, Washington, D.C. I think Maryland has a plurality, and except for Washington, D.C., Hawaii, and California. Here. Yeah. And yeah, if we include all of the Hispanic whites, and the same thing with Hispanic blacks, okay, as well. Same thing with Hispanic blacks. There's also Asians in the Hispanic community. There's also Native Americans in the Hispanic community. The only people, basically most of the mixed race people, most of the mestizos and mulattoes, those people can be in the mixed race category. I think those would just be a mixed race category instead of the word Hispanic, because the word Hispanic or Latino, it's just a cultural group. Okay, that's all it really is. If you really think about that, we have this one here, white Hispanic Americans, for example, white alone and combination make up around 58.8% of Latino Americans and 9.86% of the U.S. population. So that means half of all Latino Americans, which Hispanic and Latino is not a race, it's a cultural group. Around half of them are basically white or in combination with another race, with a mixed race people as well. So we have this one here of this one, white Hispanics by state. Okay. Texas, 81% and Florida, 83%. This is and Florida, that's mostly Cubans. Okay, that's mostly Cubans and Puerto Ricans. And Texas, that's mostly the Tejano people who have been living in Texas for, centuries now as well. So, yeah. The whole thing is very, very, very misleading that Cuba is 85%. Puerto Rican is 53%, which Puerto Ricans and Cubans are the biggest, largest groups in Florida. South Americans is 66% as well. Even like Guatemalan is 46%, and all others is 50%. Which, another thing that doesn't make any sense about the U.S. Census is Sudan. Okay. According to the U.S. Census, if you from Sudan, okay, which is Sudan is a country in Africa, they consider North Africa, people from North Africa white. Which, yeah, those North Africans are related to Europeans, same thing with Middle Easterners, but Sudanese people are not white. Okay, this is the same thing with the whole Hispanic thing. Okay, most Sudanese people are black. Okay, they're not white. Okay, most Sudanese people are black. They to be considered black, except unless you're Arab Sudanese maybe, but yeah, most Sudanese people are black. Okay, and yeah, if you go back here, and yeah, most Sudanese people are black. They're not white. Okay, they're not like Egyptians and Libyans and North Africans. Okay, Moroccans. Okay, well, Moroccans, Algerians, Tunisians, and all those people in North Africa had history and are related to people from Europe, which that makes the decision of them. And same thing with the Caucasian mountains in the Middle East, including Iran and Central Asia. I don't know if Central Asians are considered white, but I think it's Asians. I think it's India, yeah, South Asia, Southeast Asia, with the exception of Papua New Guinea, and of course East Asia as well. Not Russia. But yeah, this doesn't make any sense because you look at the map here. Okay, so this is of course here. So you have Asian. This is the Asian map. Okay, that's pretty acceptable. South Asia, with the exception of Afghanistan, Southeast Asia, except for Papua New Guinea, which is part of Oceania, and of course Japan and Korea as well. But they consider Sudan, which I of course said, most Sudanese people are not, white, but they consider if you're from Sudan, you're white, okay. I think they changed that too. But yeah, basically, if you're American Indian, that's what they call Native Americans here, you should be considered American Indian in the Hispanic category. And if you're from those countries, you'd be considered American Native. Then, and also if you're mestizo or mulatto, there should be a mixed race category for people who are mixed race as well. Yeah, this is also the racial map of the world. This is made by Masterman here. Yeah, South America is very, very, very interesting and very, 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 yeah. 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 But a lot of Central Asians and a lot of not South Asian, in Afghanistan and Iran, they are kind of related to here. But yeah, this is according to this is the racial definitions. Spanish people should not be considered Hispanic and Latino. People from Spain, and I'm talking about people specifically immigrated from the country of Spain. This is also the map of ethnicities. Africa is very diverse. Europe and Asia is very diverse, with the exception of East Asia. This is America's ethnicities. You could actually kind of see that there is a difference here. Yeah, and there's a difference between the rest of like Mexico. Yeah, Brazil is very different. You can see the ethnic diversity of Argentina and the ethnic diversity of like South Brazil versus the rest of Brazil. Yeah, and these are like the Tizano people, Texas. Yeah, but yeah, the U.S. Census does not make any sense. For example, white Hispanics should really be counted as white. Black Hispanics should be counted as black, and Asians, of course, with Asians, and of course, American Indian with American Indian or Native American as well, and of course, the rest could be classified as mixed race. I think that's a much easier thing than classifying, a cultural group as one group of people. Okay, because for example, Asians, and if you really want to divide Asians too, South Asians, which is India, East Asians, Southeast Asia, because of course those are very different countries. But a lot of South America is pretty similar here. Here's the scientifically accurate map of the world. Here, a lot of Amerindian people, West Eurasian Amerindian mix. Here, Mexico, Amerindian, mostly because no one lives here. Yeah, no, really, no one lives here. Doesn't really matter. In East Asian here. Yeah, these people are probably related to about people up here. Inuits are related to East Asian. Here, West Eurasian, and of course Australia and New Zealand. So this is the scientifically accurate race world map. It says this map is completely another joke, but this is supposed scientifically accurate world. This is one of oldest map of the world. Yeah, but yeah, the U.S. Census, of course, as we all know, doesn't really make much sense. You know, for example, Sudanese Americans, according to the U.S. Census, are considered white, even though they're not white. And also, they consider most South Americans one race, even though South America is a very diverse continent, and Latin America, Central America, with various different races. Says, same thing with the Caribbean as well. So, yep, that's basically what this video about. The U.S. Census makes zero sense. So, what we want from this race? No, not space. What we want from this video? Well, Spain is not Hispanic. It is, it does speak Spanish, but it really should be classified as white. Hispanic is not a race, which a lot of people say it is not a race, which I agree with them. Which means America is really 71 to 72% white, not 61% white. It's, well, of course, if they're white alone, I think it's also, if they're white alone or mixed, white alone Americans, which are basically just white alone Americans, that's around 60%. And mixed white Americans, around 31% of the country. Which also goes on the line around, math stuff. Well, and include Hispanic whites as well. That thing is a bit higher than that. Or I think that includes Hispanics as well. For example, white Cubans and white Brazilians and white, as well. Here, let's say if you look at this one, no, not this one. Yeah, this one. This is the map that I think people should really pay attention towards. Which also can explain why. There's also many things about this map, but yeah, this is according by the state governments here as well. But yeah, 44% of the Hispanic population is marked as white or race specified by the OMB as white. Yeah, more of the Hispanics as well. And if it goes by generation here, fourth generation Hispanics, only 50% of Hispanics identify as Hispanic. Okay, they don't so what's Texas has one of the highest, which is no surprise because a lot of the Tizanos do not identify as Hispanics, even though they have to now because the U.S. Census said they have to, even though most of them would rather identify as white and not Hispanic. Like, same thing of a lot of the Cubans who are mostly white. Whereas there's actually a reason why most of the Cubans who come to America are white, because those are a lot of the upper class Cubans are white, which is the reason why most Cubans in America are white. Same thing with Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado. A lot of those states had a long history with Mexico, a lot of history of Hispanics. Same thing with California. A lot of California is, but if you really think about it, a lot of Hispanics do not really identify as Hispanics really here. Yeah, and also there was a declining African American, which led to 11% of U.S. Hispanics do not identify as Hispanics. So yeah, that means, yeah, this Hispanic is not really a race as yeah. So yep, that is basically the end of this video. Goodbye.